Howdy, welcome back to Dion Talk. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how my savings rate is above 100% and what it took to get it there. In the beginning, a lot of us, myself included, when we're trying to figure out that freedom number, we think about what it would take to replace our W-2 income. And that's actually not the right number to be looking at. For me, that first freedom number happened when enough money was coming in to cover my living expenses that didn't require me having a job or selling my life 1 hour at a time. If you're familiar with books like Think and Grow Rich, Richest Man in Babylon, or Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad, you're probably familiar with the idea of paying yourself first. And it seems to me like there's a lot of people that have never heard of these books and don't get that concept. That's why 40% of Americans can't handle a $400 expense without going into debt. Understanding the concept of paying yourself first and knowing how to implement this theory is very important on your road to financial independence. A lot of people make the mistake of getting paid and then paying all of their bills and handling all of their expenses, and at the end of the month, trying to figure out how much money is left that they can save. In that model, there's almost never anything left at the end of the month. Paying yourself first is a little different. Developing a strategy so that you can save money is the first step. Sometimes this is to save money so that you can have an emergency fund, or save down payments to buy an investment property, or save capital to start a business, or save money that you can buy stocks with. And the strategy from the books that I talked about is the idea of paying yourself first. When you get paid, setting aside money before you pay your bills, and that money is for you. This is the money that you put to work, and it's this money's job to go out and bring you more money. A lot of financial experts talk about paying yourself first and setting aside 10% of your income. And that's a good starting point. When you're working a job, setting aside 10% of what you're making is a good goal for almost all of us to start with. But since you're watching this video, I'm guessing my thumbnail was done well enough to make you click on it. So I'm actually going to talk about how I went from a 10% savings rate to over 100%. The thing that made it possible for me to go from a savings rate that most people would consider average to a savings rate that has been absolutely life-changing for me is the power of the income snowball. And I am going to make a video that really breaks down how the income snowball can actually impact you in a short period of time, but not today. This video is more focused on how the income snowball impacts you over a longer period of time. In order to increase my savings rate from 10%, I didn't go out and ask for overtime or find a second job or start a side hustle. I looked into house hacking. That was the first step. I had moved from my house into an apartment to figure out if I can handle being a landlord. I wasn't sure, so I was dipping my toes in the water. And my first experience with tenants was pretty bad. But once I got a good tenant in the house and I realized I could handle this, I purchased a duplex, moved into one side, and rented out the other. This reduced my housing expenses from $1,500 a month down to $300 a month. The most important thing at this stage was not spending more money, avoiding life creep. Taking the extra money and adding it to the savings rate. With this extra savings, a couple of years later, I was able to buy another duplex that cash flowed. Just under 2 years later, I was able to buy another duplex that cash flowed. And then, in just under 2 years, I was able to pay off the original house. A lot of us overestimate what we can accomplish in 1 year and underestimate what we can accomplish in 5. The income snowball is not a sprint, it's a marathon. At this point in time, the pure cash flow from my rental properties. Cash flow is the difference between your mortgage and the rental income. Pure cash flow is your rental income minus your mortgage, that's principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, and then setting aside money for vacancy, repairs, and maintenance. What's left after that is your pure cash flow. And when I had these 7 units, paid off house, and 3 duplexes, my pure cash flow was $2,700 a month. Since I was house hacking in one of my units of a duplex, I didn't have any housing expenses, and $2,700 a month was more than what it cost me to live. For some people, this would mean that I had reached lean fi, or financial independence as long as I didn't try to live an extravagant life. But for me, what this meant was that all of my living expenses were covered by rental profit. So every single penny that I make from my job, from my W-2 work, that place where I sell my life 1 hour at a time, 100% of that money is saved for the next purchase. This grows my reserve account. This grows my down payment account. Luckily, I really like the job that I have. I have no intention on retiring. So while I have been working with an over 100% savings rate, I've added 7 more units, almost tripled my cash flow. So now, over 60% of the money coming in from rental profit and 100% of the money coming in from my W-2 job is my savings rate. That's how it's possible to have greater than a 100% savings rate. Have your income snowball, or that income that comes in from ways outside of your job, be greater than what it costs you to live, and you can take your savings rate from 10% to as high as you want it to be. I hope I made it worth your time clicking on this video today. If you think you got anything out of it, or if you thought it had any value, please hit like, hit subscribe. If you know anybody that you think could benefit from understanding how to grow a savings rate, please share this video with them, and hopefully it will help them too. Until my next video, thanks for coming to my Dion Talk.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.